the Madman. All right, we got the final class reveal today, Warrior. And I'll hype it up by first showing this tweet by Cora, Hearthstone game developer.
4 months ago I said Warrior had a lot to look forward to in the Year of the Wolf. I wasn't lying.
Okay, it's gotta be good. It's gotta be good. Is Control Warrior back? Well, let's see. With Odin Prime Designate. 8 mana, 8/8 battle cry for the rest of the game after your hero gains armor. They gain that much attack for that turn. When Alexandros Mograine was first revealed for Blood Death Knight, I was like, wow, that's a 1-card win condition. It's gotta be good. It doesn't matter how slow it is. And people laughed at me, and people were like, haha, kooky Trump and his control thoughts. I was right. I was right. Well, Odin Prime Designate appears to be very similar to Mograine, but you can certainly do far better than just the hero power each turn to get 2 attack a turn, because there's a lot of ways to gain armor, such as Minotaurin, 6 mana 5/5 rush. Whenever this minion deals damage, gain that much armor. Did you know that Shield Maiden used to be a 6 mana 5/5? She got buffed to a 5 mana 5/5. You can, by the way, still run Shield Maiden. But Minotaurin appears to be better because it's Shield Maiden with Rush for 1 more mana. Plus, it is entirely possible that Minotaurin deals damage more than once, in which case, you'll deal 10 and then gain 10 armor. Also, it is entirely possible that you hand buff your Minotaurin and then you gain more armor. Stone Skin Armorer? What is this? 3 mana 3/4 battlecry. If your armor changes this turn, draw 2 cards. Did they just print a 3 mana 3/4 that draws 2 cards? Now, granted, you have to combo it with gaining armor, but if you don't, then it's still 3 mana 3/4, which isn't that bad. The very worst is that you can play it as a 5 mana 3/4, draw 2 cards, gain 2 armor by using the hero power. Even better, though, is if you don't have to use the hero power. For example, if you have your Craftsman's Hammer equipped, 4 mana 3/3 after your hero attacks and kills a minion, gain 4 armor. You can't play Outrider's Axe anymore, and if you could, it would be a tough decision on which one to include in your deck. Is it better to draw a card, or is it better to gain 4 armor? And, you know, debatable. Depends on what you need at the moment. However, Outrider's Axe isn't here, so it certainly makes Craftsman's Hammer a lot more appealing. You also have Smelt. Give a random minion in your hand +3/+3, lose 3 armor to do it again. If you consider the 3 armor price to be negligible, 2 mana, 2 minions in hand +3/+3 each. Could be 1 minion +6/+6. That's pretty good. Great hand buff card. Is going to require you to play armor cards, so a little bit interesting since the 2 decks don't usually interact, like gaining armor as well as spending armor to do stuff. Did you want more Control Warrior tools? Well, how about Trial by Fire, a 7 mana fire spell. 7/5/1/1 Valkyrie with Rush. When one dies, give the others +1/+1. Very similar to Scales of Onyxia, you're getting a lot of rush value for 7 mana. So anywhere where you essentially spend your 1/1/2/2 and possibly 3/3, and you end up with your 2 4/4s, or you also spend your 4/4 and you get your 5/5, or you only spend the 1/1 and the 2/2 and you get 3 3/3s. Those are all really good value plays by Trial by Fire. For the most part, once you get to the higher Valkyrie, like the 3/3s, the 4/4s, and the 5/5s, you tend to not want to trade those away. Hey, do we want even more good control tools? How about Bellowing Flames? A 3 mana fire spell. Deal 5 damage to a minion, forge, then deal 5 damage split among all enemy minions. I feel like it's at this point that I should mention that Thori Ballori, while you didn't notice the buff, potentially, because it's actually very possible that you didn't notice, Thori Ballori used to only be able to resurrect a few times. She can now resurrect infinitely, which is really good given these good control fire spells. So Bellowing Flames deals 5 damage to a minion, forge, then deal 5 damage split among all enemy minions. So 3 mana, deal 5 to a minion. Okay. If you spend the forge, which you can do on turn 2 and then follow up by turn 3, that's a board clear on turn 3. pretty much no matter how ridiculous of a start your opponent had. Tends to kill a big minion, tends to kill a few small minions alongside it. Very solid option, especially when you consider Thoria Balori to be in the game, because you get an extra 4/4 alongside it. Steam Guardian, 3 mana 3/3 elemental battlecry, draw a spell, reduce the cost of a fire spell in your hand by 1. So basically a 2 mana 3/3, given that you're reducing the cost of a spell in your hand. Like this entire package, all of this stuff that I mentioned, I think all this goes to Control Warrior. Also exciting for Steam Guardian is Steam Guardian opens up the possibility for Menagerie Warrior to also be good, because you can tutor for your Black Rock and Roll, which by the way is a fire spell. Note that Steam Guardian draws a spell, so if you do put it into Menagerie Warrior, you'd want to put it into a deck mainly of minions, obviously, because you wouldn't want to draw the other spells. So the most obvious one that comes to mind is Menagerie Warrior. If you did put it into Menagerie Warrior, then your other payoff card might get in the way, the other payoff card being Roaring Applause. But my theory is that you're going to run 2 Roaring Applause and you're going to run Black Rock and Roll. It's not going to be that uncommon for you to play Steam Guardian, draw Black Rock and Roll, and then just play Black and Rock and Roll on turn 4, which really turns up the heat, let me tell you that. One of the problems of Black Rock and Roll was that, it's 1 legendary. What are the chances that you get it when you built your entire deck around that by having a bunch of minions? Well, they're now 3 times as likely with Steam Guardian, plus you can play Black Rock and Roll on turn 4 instead of 5. That's actually very frightening. And then finally you have Furious Furnace, a 2 mana 1/3 mech with Magnetic, also damages minions next to whomever this attacks. This one's a little bit of an oddball. Probably the highest likelihood of this being played is in Menagerie Warrior right now. It's especially good when magnetized, and a really cool target to magnetize would be the 1 Amalgam Band. When the Amalgam Band gets Rush and Lifesteal, perhaps, you attach the Furious Furnace to it, and then you build your own Hollow Hand. I think this is a little bit of too much to hope for. And while there's other targets to magnetize Furious Furnace onto, I don't believe Warrior has that many mech targets. And with that is all the cards. See you for the star ratings, and also see you for the Theory Craft, in which I will build a number of these decks, of which I'm sure Control Warrior will be one of them. Get ready to see Trump Laboratories in action.